Welcome to the Thrive TV Show with Lauren Parsons, helping you boost your health, energy, and productivity.
Hi there, and welcome to another episode of the Thrive TV Show. My name is Lauren Parsons. I'm your host, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by Michelle Morpeth, who is the director of the Outdoorsy NZ. So welcome, Michelle.
Hi, Lauren. It's nice to be here today.
Really great to connect and see it's beautiful and sunny where you are in Auckland today. It's gorgeous.
It is. It hasn't been lately. We've had a lot of rain, which is good because we need it. We really need the water in the dams, but today is just gorgeous.
Yeah, lovely day for getting outside. So thank you for taking some time to be here with me right now. Today we're talking about fitting more of the outdoors in. So we're going to share about why it's important to counterbalance technology with nature, how to prioritise outdoor time each week, and how to get more inspiration, motivation and confidence outdoors. So I know that Michelle hosts a whole lot of outdoors events with women, helping to inspire them to get outdoors and to also develop healthy, happy, energetic families. So really thrilled to have you with us. So just to get to know you a little more, Michelle, let's go through our this and that questions. Are you ready for a quick fire round?
Oh, goody. Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, so tell me, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Dogs, nice. I knew you had a dog.
Yeah.
Would you rather be invisible or able to read minds?
Oh my goodness. Invisible, I think. Yeah.
Okay, nice. A logical or creative?
A bit of both. I've got a right brain and a left brain, and I like to use both of them.
Okay, nice. Tell me, beachfront or mountaintop?
Both in the same day, and we're very lucky here in New Zealand that we can actually do that.
Nice. I was really intrigued to hear your answer on that one. Very good. Okay, boiled eggs or poached eggs?
Poached every time. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Me too. Shower or bath?
Oh, I do like a nice hot shower, but I would have to, if I had to choose, I would choose a bath, and of course it would have to be an outdoor bath with a beautiful view and maybe a glass of wine.
Oh, sounds divine. Okay,
I love that.
nice. Burgers or pizza?
I would probably say a really good burger. My husband's actually a chef, and he can make a mean burger. So, yeah, I'll go for one of his.
Okay, nice. And last one, cake or chocolate?
Chocolate cake.
Oh, you're so good at combining all of them. I love it.
I like both of those things. So, yeah, let's go for chocolate cake.
Beautiful. So Michelle is an outdoor community leader, helping mums to get their confidence back and find their energy outside. Kiwi mum to 2 firecracker little boys, she provides inspiration to keep an adventurous spirit and get out there via her popular retreats and events and programs. She also offers services to the corporate world, injecting employee health and wellness programs with a little outdoorsy action. So thrilled to have you with us, Michelle. So tell our listeners, how is it you got started doing what you're doing now?
Well, yeah, I've got 2 boys, like you said, Nate and Tasman. They're 7 and 3. And after Nate was born, my husband being a chef, he works very long hours, and I refused to be like the little wifey sitting at home waiting for her husband to be available to have adventures. I knew I was going to have to do it myself, and so I did. I just used to pack Nate up and get out there, first in the front pack, and then in the backpack when he got a bit bigger. And then as soon as he could walk himself, I was training him up to get out there hiking and that kind of thing. And I just noted a lot of my friends were saying to me, oh my goodness, you're always doing such cool stuff. How do you know where to go and what to do? And how do you keep Nate safe? How do you feel safe doing that? Or where do you get your confidence from? All these kinds of questions. And so I realized that there were lots of other mums out there who actually wanted to be doing this, but there just wasn't the support there for them. So I started by writing a blog. And that was really well received, and then over time developed the Facebook group, and our private Facebook group, the Outdoorsy Mama, has now got well over 3,000 mums in there, and it's a very active, energetic group, so that's a lot of fun. And then it developed into a business from there.
Fantastic.
And it's kind of funny.
Yeah, exactly. But it's so lovely seeing people sharing those ideas, and I can totally relate to that, wanting to get outdoors.
Yeah.
One question that comes to mind when you talked about training the boys up, for me with my daughters as well, I love the idea of going tramping with them, but often it's
Yeah.
actually their physical fitness and their, their mindset towards it. Any
Yeah.
tips for how you encourage, everyone in the family to get on board? How do you get your young ones on board and motivated?
Well, the earlier you can start, the better.
Mhm.
I was actually just talking to a mum this morning. I just dropped my 3-year-old at kindy, and whenever we've got time, we walk, and we walk and drop my son at school, and then we walk to the kindy, and it's a decent distance. It takes us. I mean, if I was just going to crash over there myself, power walking or running, it'd only take kind of 10 or 15 minutes, but with a 3-year-old in tow, you really do have to go at their pace. So it can take us up to 40 minutes to walk over there, and I get him to carry his own backpack with his lunch in it and his jumper, so that he's getting used to wearing a backpack, not too heavy, of course, but that's good training as well. And just getting him used to observing everything that's going on around him, both from a safety aspect, looking for cars and traffic, that kind of thing, but and also observing nature, birds, things in the grass, different plants and things along the way, what he can smell, all those kinds of things. And they really set children up to realise that it's actually really fun going on these little expeditions. And quite often I do set it up to be, I use words like we're going on a mission, or we're going on an adventure. We go, rather than say, let's go for a walk, I try to appeal to the child's sense of adventure, going on an expedition and things like that. And that really appeals to them. And another good tip is to try and get them involved in the planning. So you can say, right, we're going to go on an adventure today. Shall we go to here, here, or here? And you give them 3 kind of locations that they feel like they can choose, if they want to go into the bush, or if we want to do a coastal one and rock pools, or, just try to give them options. And another tip for when you're actually walking yourselves and they don't want to walk.
Yes.
Because we all know that does happen quite frequently. It's a really good idea to have a few tips and tricks or a few games up your sleeve. Like one of my favourite ones was actually suggested by one of the mums in our Facebook group when we had a thread talking about this very topic. And her family plays a game that they call Jump Out and Rawr. That's the name of the
You
game.
can imagine exactly what that's all about. Yeah.
It's like hide and seek. So one or two of the children run ahead, hide on the side of the track a bit further, and the rest of the family walks up, and you don't know where they are, and then they jump out at you and go Rawr! And give you a fright, and then it's the next person's turn, or one of the parents' turn, to go up ahead a bit and hide, and actually before you know it, you've done 3 kilometres. So that's a good one. And just other little games like I Spy, going through the alphabet and trying to think of an animal for every letter. The games like that can distract them are a really good idea.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, I love those ideas.
Bribe with food. It's the cornerstone of parenthood.
Always having the snacks with you. Yeah, but I love the idea of just building those foundations just with the walks to and from school and kindy and town and things like that, and getting them to carry their own backpack. All those things that they're easy to perhaps not always do, but to recognise the benefits of that. And I love those strategies.
Yeah.
So for a lot of mums who feel like they are time pressured, a lot of busy mums out there will be listening and thinking, oh, that all sounds amazing, but how would I find the time? What tips have you got around that?
Well, one of the key things that I teach is strategies to fit more of the outdoors in during your day, your week, your month, and your year. Because, we are all busy, we are all time strapped, and you do actually have to make it a priority. You have to sit down and think about what your family values and your goals are. And if spending more time outdoors is really important to you as a family, then you actually need to make a decision that you're going to prioritize it as a family. Or for me, it's a huge priority for myself too, not just getting out with my boys or with my friends or with my husband, but I like to have time outdoors by myself as well, because that's when I feel like I'm recalibrating. So for me, that's a really big priority. I'm a much nicer person to be around when I've had my outdoor time. I'm a much better mother. I feel more calm, and I feel like I've just got more resilience and more ability to deal with all the things that are being thrown at me from all directions, if I have had a bit of outdoor time. So make it a priority is my first tip is that you actually have to make that conscious decision that you are going to make it a priority. And then you think to yourself, right, let's start really small. Let's think about little things that we could do every day, which are all going to add up to make a bit of a difference at the end of the week. Just simple things like having your morning coffee outside instead of, you know, rushing through the house with it in your hand. Actually go and sit on your front doorstep if it's sunny, or on the deck, or just a nice wee spot in the garden or something, and just drink your coffee outside if you can. And then conversely, at the end of the day, before you go to bed at night, just step outdoors, turn off the lights, and just look up into the stars just for a few minutes, just before night. It just will give you a bit of a reset. See if you can see a shooting star. And I think one other thing with stargazing that is really, really awesome in terms of being outdoors is that you do get that feeling of awe. And it's interesting, I've been doing a bit of research recently into how important it is that we do find moments of awe in our life, find things that are awe-inspiring, because we are so busy and we are so caught up in all the things and in our own kind of internal world, that when we see something that really is awesome or awe-inspiring, it makes us realize that we're actually quite a small part of a much bigger world out there. And yeah, and it helps you to kind of just not sweat the small stuff quite so much. It helps to put things into perspective. So that's another added bonus of fitting more of the outdoors into your life, is that when you can see something like the moon rising over the water, or just looking up into the universe, up and seeing that Milky Way and thinking, oh my goodness, there's got to be more life out there than just us. That's just amazing, you know. Or you could be lucky enough to be going for a walk at the beach and you might see a pod of dolphins or something like that. Yeah, so put yourself in front of beautiful views and places that fill you with awe, and you will build your natural resilience.
Yeah, I love that.
Topic of priorities.
I love that.
Yeah, just fit little things in, like, I was saying, the cup of coffee in the morning outside, stargazing before bed. If you are commuting to work, perhaps park your car a little bit further away, or get off the train, stop early, and just spend 5 or 10 minutes walking outside till you get to your workplace, making sure that you do actually get outdoors at lunchtime over your break, whenever you can. I know it's not always possible, you know, to walk the kids to school or kindy like we try to do when we can. It doesn't happen every day, but just little things like that you can do during the day, little snippets of getting outdoors.
Yes, I love that. And that it just reminds me actually of, you know, it's that small and often makes it so much more doable. It's the same with my idea around snacking on exercise. Like if you can break it down, rather than feeling like, oh, I've got to go somewhere, perhaps to an indoor building, and I've got to block out an hour and a half, just fitting it in. A couple of my ideas as well, just to add to yours as well, is often if I have a phone call to make, rather than staying in the office, I'll just put my headphones on and grab my phone and just walk up and down the drive. Or if I know it's going to be a longer phone call, I'll actually schedule it for a time when I can do like a bigger loop walk and do a couple of phone calls and get it done. Because I found recently, when we're filming this has just been post-lockdown in New Zealand, and I discovered some amazing walking tracks that I would never have perhaps known of if I hadn't had that experience. We've just moved house. And it's been amazing, because I found that one of my daily non-negotiables has been get outdoors for a walk at least 20 minutes. And there's a really awesome loop that's exactly 30 minutes. And so I try to do that most days. And I found lately that since the kids have been back at school, I'd actually gotten out of that really diligent routine of just fitting it into my lockdown routine. But I realised, because I was noticing I was feeling tired and fatigued and my sleep wasn't as good, so that getting outdoors in the middle of the day and sunlight into your eyes is so beneficial for your well-being. So I love that.
I think that one thing that a lot of people don't really realise or think about is that we are wired to be outside. When you look at human evolution, I mean, we spent this much time being like hunter-gatherers who really have to focus on the outdoors, and they need it, you know, for our survival, to this much time maybe being suddenly urban dwellers, and largely, you know, we're focusing on screens. We've got a lot of technology in our lives, and there's a disconnect there now.
Mm-hmm.
So we really need to be outside. Our evolution hasn't caught up. So that's why we actually start to feel like we get that cabin fever kind of feeling if you're stuck inside for too long, or, you know, and we actually do physically need the vitamin D from the sun. We need the melatonin for our sleep. All these kinds of things. We have actually evolved as outdoor creatures. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And I
So
know you mentioned research before. You know, you were talking about research, and I know you promised you're going to explain why we need to counterbalance the outdoor time with technology, which I love that idea of it, you know, counterbalancing it. Tell us why that is.
Well, that is a large part of it, because we are, you know, it's in our DNA really to be spending that much time outdoors. And I think that if you do have a lot of screen time, and let's face it, most of us do have increasingly worrying amounts of screen time in our lives, it really does dampen down your senses. I'm trying to think, there's a really good quote by a guy called Richard Louv, who is the founder of the Children Nature Network in the US. And he's written some fantastic books. I really recommend looking up Vitamin N for Nature and Last Child in the World. He has a great quote around that theory that nature amplifies the senses, whereas technology tends to dull the senses. So when our senses are dulled, we're never going to be performing at optimum capacity, are we? We're never going to be feeling our max, you know, energetic. We're not going to be feeling recharged. We're not going to feel like we can cope. We're much more likely to suffer from anxiety, and our immune system is suppressed. So that's why it is really critical that we counterbalance all the screen time and the technology in our lives with simply getting outdoors and having a bit of a run around.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. And, you know, even just walking through a nature area, you know, going on a bushwalk, even just for 10 minutes, we know it creates systemic changes in the body and helps to, you know, just help us find that calm centered place. And so it's really interesting that you're working with organizations as well, because for me, that is interesting to hear, you know, when you think about the application for your team, if you're leading a team of people, the flow-on effects for productivity, for people to be focused, for people to be innovative and creative, to be grounded, to have that strong emotional intelligence where they can respond rather than react, you know, just the team dynamics, all of those positive flow-ons. So it's really exciting, the work that you're doing. So what would you say to someone that's listening in, that's thinking, hey, what can I do to get started? Or what are some key tips or strategies to go from where I'm at the moment to getting into more time outdoors?
Well, I teach I kind of converted the food pyramid, if you like. So if you think about the food pyramid, which most people know, on the bottom level, I would be thinking about all those little things that you can fit into your day that we were talking about before, and just sit down, brainstorm with yourself or with your partner, and try and write down 20 or 30 little things like that could make a change, and then just choose a few of them that you actually feasibly think that you do, and those can be the base layer to really start making a difference. Then the next level up, you could start thinking about okay, weekly, I'm going to commit every weekend to a couple of hours that I'm going to be doing something outdoors, either by myself or with a friend, or, you know, if you've got kids, then preferably with your kids. Just go for a bike ride, go to the beach, go for a walk, that kind of thing. So that's your weekend non-negotiable, just a couple of hours or a whole afternoon if you can. Something, you know, not necessarily organized sport, but something that you're doing together outside. And then the next level up from that, I would say monthly. So once a month, try to commit a whole day and a weekend to having an adventure somewhere, perhaps somewhere you haven't been before. Get online and research where your local regional parks are. Have a look, Google where the waterfalls are in your district, where the caves are, that kind of thing. Hot pools at this time of the year, it's winter when we're filming this. So see if there are any thermal pools around you that you didn't even know existed that's doable for that kind of thing, and make a list so that you've got a list there, and when you do have the time to go and do something, you can not all just looking at each other like headless chickens going, well, where should we go, what should we do, I don't know, okay, we'll just watch a movie then. You know, so if you've got your list, you can start ticking them off. So set aside a bit of time to make that list for your monthly one-day adventures. And then at the very top of the pyramid, you can have your epic adventure that you're going to do once a year, perhaps. And we've all got different ideas of what epic is. You know, for some people that might be going and climbing a mountain, but for most of us, it might be something as simple as maybe trying sea kayaking because you've never been in a kayak before, or your annual family camping trip. It's just something that you can plan for and look forward to. That's going to be a really epic getaway. It's going to refresh you all, and that sits at the top of the pyramid. So you could sit down as a family and draw that out when you're making that commitment with your family values to spending more time outdoors. And you could do one for the family, and then you could just do one for yourself as an individual.
Yes, I love that. I really love that whole idea of that pyramid, and certainly planning ahead. There's I teach a course called Overcome the Overwhelm, and in one of the modules we talk about, you know, dreaming big and planning how you want life to be, and then taking your wall planner, you know, calendar, big wall planner, and actually blocking on there the holidays and the getaways. And I love the idea of calling them epic adventures, and you know, and those day adventures and trips away, because there's just so much connection that happens between family members and connection with nature and with ourselves. There's so much amazing learning that goes on, isn't there, when you're outdoors? So it's really inspiring. When you mentioned before that you liked going out by yourself, however, I was interested, and I thought other people that are listening and maybe wondering about the question you said friends asked you as well around, you know, how do you boost your confidence to get out by yourself? What would you say to that, Michelle?
Well, I would say, first of all, be sensible. Know your limits, and try and find out if the area that you're thinking of going to is safe especially for a woman to head out by herself. For example, I live in Auckland. If I wanted to go for a trail run somewhere, there's a couple of places in Auckland I probably wouldn't go by myself, or at least I would be sure to take my dog with me. But I prefer to go with friends because I just, some areas just can be a little bit dodgy. So I would research tracks and trails that are popular and busy, and that there's going to be other people around. If you feel if you're one of the people who feels like you just wouldn't enjoy yourself on your own because you wouldn't feel safe, then find a place where there's going to be lots of other members of the public around. Something else that you can do is call a visitors centre. Like there's a fantastic Department of Conservation Arataki Visitors Centre in the Waikakiris where you can ring them up and say, which trails do you recommend to walk by yourself? And let them know when you go, and then check in again when you get back. I always do that with a friend or with my husband anyway. If I'm going to go for a run or a bike ride on my own, I would always tell somebody where I'm going and when I expect to be back, and then I'd give them a call. Because, if you do slip over and you sprain your ankle or something out there in the bush, and you might have your phone, but quite often you'll find that you don't have coverage. Somebody needs to know where you are. So be prepared for that. Make sure you've got the right gear. Don't just go out there wearing kind of a cotton jumper and leggings. Make sure you've got merino at the right time of year, things like that. And just start small and work your way up. That's a good way to deal with confidence. But at the end of the day, if it's not something that you're comfortable doing, then find a friend. That's cool. Find a friend and go with a friend, and then perhaps you'll be a bit more relaxed about it.
Fantastic, nice. And if people don't have partners that perhaps want to be outdoors, or don't have friends that are outdoorsy friends, what do you say to them?
Well, that is why I set up the Outdoorsy Mama, and that's why we've got over 3,000 mums in that group, because it's interesting, isn't it? A lot of the mums there have said that their partner's just not into it, that they're knackered at the end of the week, and they just like to watch TV or do gaming or do some other boy thing that I don't know what it is. But we kind of had this idea of the Kiwi male being a strapping outdoorsy kind of bloke, but there's a lot of them who aren't, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
That's cool. But there are a lot of us mums who do want to get out and have adventures. So so that's why I set up the group, and it's just been fantastic for meeting other like-minded mums who I never would have normally met, and from all different backgrounds. And I just love the inclusivity of it, and And we just have such a fantastic time. It's awesome. We really look forward to every month. I've got a paid membership group, and we get out and hike, and we just look forward to it so much. It's really built into our lives now, and it's really disappointing if one of them feels like that she can't make it that month. It's really become important.
Yeah. So anyone's able to join the free group though, and that's all around the country. So I could be anywhere in the country and just put a post up and say, hey, keen to find someone to walk with or explore with. Yeah, fantastic. That's such a lovely idea, and I like the idea of getting out. And do you find people also do family adventures?
Yes. Yep.
Through the group. Yeah.
And it's great for finding some inspiration on good places to go that are suitable for the age of your children, because that's another really big challenge that a lot of mums find is that if you've got 3 kids who are 10, 5 and 1.5, it can be quite challenging to find somewhere that everybody's going to enjoy. So so again, groups like that are fantastic for inspiration and finding out where good local tracks or activities or bike trails are. And apart from my group, there's lots of other really fantastic outdoor groups too. Like you could look at joining the Alpine Club of New Zealand. I mean, they've got huts around the country. Forest and Bird also is a great organisation to be aware of. They do really fantastic work, and they also have lodges in different parts of the country that you can take your family to. So just do a bit of research online and see what you can come up with and find some connections.
That sounds great. Fantastic. Well, it feels to me like, we've kind of covered across the board from why we should be spending more time outside, ways to get your kids involved, ways to get yourself going. So if people wanted to reach out, find out more, is the best place reaching out to your Facebook group, Michelle?
Yeah, like you said before, it's free. Any mum is welcome to join. We've got a few grandmas in there as well, active grannies, which is great. And we've got some nannies as well, nannies and au pairs who are here in New Zealand and, want to be doing outdoor things with their children. So we've got a few of them in the group as well. So that's called The Outdoorsy Mama. And you can also find me on Instagram at outdoorsy_NZ.
Fantastic. Lovely. And so make sure if you are listening into this, if you're not already watching it on the website, you can head over to thrivetvshow.com, and down below you'll get all of those links. So head over there and you can get all the links to be able to connect in with Michelle. So we're almost out of time, Michelle, but we'll just finish up. I always have to ask, what is one piece of advice, if you could add one extra thing to share with our listeners today, what would you say in closing?
I would say, I think my key message really is that when we were talking about making it a priority, you really need to do that. I urge you to really make the outdoors a priority. You'll be astounded at just what it will do for your well-being. And if you can just add in little increments, make it a priority, you're worth it. Look after yourself and enjoy our beautiful backyard, because we all need a few more conservation warriors out there, and I really feel like if people learn to love something, they're going to look after it, and we do need to look after it. So have fun, make it a priority, get out there and help us all to look after it.
Yeah, that's such a lovely message. And I think the wonderful thing is that as mothers, as parents, we are then setting that example for our children. And so they're going to just naturally develop that love of being in nature by spending time in it, and just by a few little bit of planning, as you said, and then putting a few different ideas in there. I love the idea of the jump out and rah game, things like that, just to keep them really engaged. And I can imagine as you do that, you're building these foundations and these amazing memories in their lives as well as looking after your own well-being. So thank you so much for sharing about such a beautiful and unique topic, and encourage everyone to go out and plan your next monthly adventure, plan your epic adventure for the year. So thank you so much for your time, Michelle.
No worries, it's been my pleasure to be here. Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening in. That's been another episode of the Thrive TV show. Go out and thrive.
Thank you for listening to the Thrive TV Show with Lauren Parsons. Visit thrivetvshow.com to access the show notes and discover our fantastic bonus content. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next inspiring episode.